You grew up watching Celtics and Lakers.
Yeah, this feels like that.
Celtic Lakers. I'm a Red Sox fan. We're in New York. There's Yankee fans here. This is Yankees Red Sox.
Yeah, this is TSM CLG.
In MSG.
Welcome back, everyone, to the North American LCS Finals. As you see CLG on your screen, they're one game away from claiming the title of North American champions for the first time ever in their organization's history. That would be quite a massive achievement. Have to imagine that they are very proud of where they've gotten to already, but are only energized to go further. You're getting also a look at a Coca-Cola viewing party taking place at the San Francisco Cinemark. Oh, the energy there, as you can tell. You just heard from a couple people who know a thing or two about big-time rivalries. And this one, well, it definitely stacks up. The teams are readying up for round 3, but first we want to check how all of you have been following the action. Kevin Flo has made the finals into a family affair first up. And we're going to get those up onto your screen in just a moment. And as you'll see with Kevin's family, this is truly a family affair. We got mom, grandmom, the whole crew. Next up, then, One Bang is showing his team spirit via party snacks. Hashtag 7-layer dip age, boys. I mean,
7-layer dip age? Sure.
Right. Hey.
I think it's one of the worst ages I've heard. I'm sorry.
Don't rain on the parade, freaks. CLG is doing very well right now. Finally, Clark Star is connecting with friends via Skype. Now, conspicuously absent in this teleconference party, though, is Joel.
Yeah, he's missing. He never shows up. He's got the D&D
Joel,
flag
get
on.
on Skype, please.
Pretends he's busy all the time.
It's been all split. I don't know what else to do.
You see him online. You know he's around.
All right, well, thank you to everyone who wrote in, but keep those pictures coming our way. We're at LOL Esports and use the hashtag HowILCS. Let's get back into the action with Game 3 between CLG and TSM. CLG here just one smash Nexus from winning their first North American championship. How are they going to do that?
By doing what they've been doing. Honestly, we've seen them pivot styles. They played very double focused. The Janna with the Rush Zeeks. I love that as an AD carry player. Rush Zeeks on every support ever. It's wonderful. And yeah, okay, Yasuo comp game 1. Grats, Tristana, or Jinx comp game 2. And every single person is playing magically here. CLG down the line are on fire. Their comp's working, so grats to the coach. The players are doing amazingly. Grats to all 5.
One of those players in particular, Zion Spartan. We have a quick highlight package here that we're going to throw up for you all because there were probably too many plays that he made in that last game. Starting off here in the top
lane. This is absolutely insane.
Oh, yeah.
The cue of the wallop, as it comes out, Bjergsen closes this distance right there. You only see the targeting reticle for it for a split second, and then he gets him out of there. And that was a huge part of the game, because if he had given up that kill top, it would have swung momentum, gold into Bjergsen's hands, and Dyrus as well.
And the guts to go back in there, you know, just for the hell of it. A little taunting.
And the peeling there, too, to keep them out of the pit, stopping any possible steal and the turnaround there. But this play is actually really largely Pobelter here, the bait on the back line.
Yeah, I really have to give credit to the Zion, though. It's so easy to say, you know, I'm Gnar, I have damage, I have a Black Cleaver, I'm going to go hit the front, I'm going to go hit the back line, I'm going to go find Kog'Maw. He understood his role in the team was actually jump backwards, peel the Nautilus instead, make sure that Jinx is okay, pivoting. That's one of the reasons I'm really bad at playing tanks. I don't know how to pivot very well. I just play AD carry. I just do the one thing all the time. But changing the way you play a team fight based on the composition, based on who's got gold, huge mark of a good player.
Real quick, Zyrina, I want to get your thoughts on TSM because the teams are ready. So before we head in, what is TSM going to do here to turn this around?
TSM really need to shore up their draft phase first and foremost because right now they're being outpicked. And even when they got the Yasuo on the other team, the CLG was running it, there was double exhaust that they didn't run. And then when they had the Yasuo, double exhaust was run against them. So they are not adapting accordingly in Champion Select. You need to start off with a good footing in a game, and they didn't set themselves up for success. The compositions are okay, but you're up against CLG. They're running triple threats. Counter pick for Dyrus, like Peter was saying. That would be a good start. Make sure you're coming out strong. And these are players that whenever we hear them talk about their losses, they're always saying Champion Select didn't go too well for us. Get them on good footing, get their confidences up, and that's where you start it.
Well, we'll find out very soon if they can get off on the right foot. We're going to throw it over to our casters for the call, but first, Lustboy throws a little fuel on the CLG rivalry.
막 다른 선수들이 막 하이프되어 있으니까 그런가 보다 하고 그냥 따라가고 있고요. 그리고 레지널드가 선수 시절에 핫샷보다 더 잘하는 미드였고 CU 경영도 더 잘하기 때문에 코칭도 더 잘하는 것 같고 그냥 더 TSM이 CLG보다 항상 다 한 수 앞서 있는 것 같아요.
Pretty strong words coming from Lust Boy there, talking about Reginald. Also a little job security as well.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Yeah.
But
Compliment the boss.
We things you probably don't want to be saying or being shown of you saying when you're down 0-2.
0-2, that's the point. Is
Time to
that
turn it around. If
we haven't seen those results he was just talking about, or those things he was
Oh,
talking
man.
about. It's been difficult. Well, we
Prop
are going to
game.
be getting
I like the trash.
we are going to be getting into game number 3 here. This has already been a crazy fast 2-0 series for Counter Logic Gaming so far. It's been immensely quick in the early game. Doublelift said they want to change that. They want to not fall apart in the mid game, and they want to be able to team fight, which they almost let go of but brought back.
They've had such clean plays so far,
Yeah.
and in the playoffs, in Madison Square Garden, when all the pressure is on, these are the criticisms that have been leveled at them over and over and over again, and CLG have showed up.
Carrying the momentum now into game 3. Team SoloMid, as you said, not really adapting due to picks. Known to be better to adapt from game to game in their own style, but it seems like they're putting themselves on the back burner here and can't figure out what to do.
They did try and adapt. CLG just did it better. They
That's true.
took away the Yasuo.
That's a
CLG,
good way to look at it.
They basically had the reverse main champions there, and CLG just did it better. Better execution.
Yeah, no reason for CLG to change up any of their first 2 bans either. And they have TSM in kind of this difficult situation. Dyrus can't play Maokai. If he plays Gnar, then they have to pick Yasuo. Otherwise, Zion Spartan will play Yasuo as a counter matchup.
And this is the rising importance of those counter picks in the top lane. TSM are now red side,
Yeah, it's
so
important
that they
to note.
could save it there. And Bjergsen being so versatile, they don't have to use it for mid lane.
You have to mention that as far as side selection goes, every time a team had the opportunity to pick blue side, they did. So a lot of value being placed on the first pick and almost a devalued last pick. Yet, when CLG was on red side, they still found the value with that last pick.
Yeah, that's what Peter was saying. Said when TSM now gets on the red side, look at Dyrus, focus that. Zion Spartan feeling so comfortable about the kit to champions, give Dyrus the counter.
So
That's what they do.
Alistar now banned this time around. Puts more importance on that Braum.
Olaf is up as well. It's not banned.
Olaf has been up the entire...
It was banned in game 2. I don't think it was banned in game 1.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right, it was.
As far as flexibility goes for CLG.
The Braum is there.
Oh,
This could mean Dyrus' Olaf. He has been playing well on it, or consistently in lane and showing up well to the fights, but it could still be anything. TSM has an open board with Braum on the side of CLG.
The thing is, even though Olaf is up, Lulu is banned. And that's a big part of empowering the other members when they put Bjergsen on Lulu to give Dyrus the speed and the shields to be on the front line and be the carry. So they've kind of kneecapped that Olaf strategy a little bit by taking out the main support champion that you would want to run in mid lane.
Team SoloMid definitely focusing on that Tristana of Doublelifts once again. Maybe the
Good
jinx to
takeaway.
their side. They do finally get the Gragas away from McSmithy. It would be nice for Santorin here. Dyrus looking to grab a Kog'Maw as well to flex around if needed.
I do like this, make Smithy play something else. I was looking for, as I kept saying, the Echo and the Gragas denial, but at least they're going to deny some of the early game pressure. Smithy did get that early Gragas gank onto Bjergsen that really determined a lot of the early flow of the mid lane. So he won't be able to make those body slam plays. Echo takes a bit longer to get going, but Smithy still, if he does decide to stick with Cinderhulk Jungler, of course, still will be that team fight presence that CLG have been wanting from him.
Still probably the expected pick for them for sure. I wonder if CLG wants to hide both of their solo lanes here with picks 2 and 3 like they did in game 1, because in game 1 they picked Victor and Yasuo in their last 2 rotations as kind of a surprise. But if they really did want to still go with the Yasuo composition, you'd almost want to lock it down now, because the priority of that pick has definitely escalated throughout this series.
Yeah, for sure it has. Both teams seeing the power that it's bringing in and the comfort level of each of the guys playing it. Bjergsen and Zion Spartan so far with those 2 plays. 10 seconds on the clock. CLG running up the clock every time they have the chance here, as they've done in picks and bans. The Ashe was banned first game away from Doublelift. He'll get it here in game 3 along with Smithy on that Tank Echo.
Yeah, and the thing about Tank Echo is his great follow-up CC. It's pretty hard to be the main initiation, but Doublelift will provide that. Aphromoo will provide that with the Braum. A lot of crowd control here for CLG already in the first 3 picks. Gonna make it difficult for Turtle.
Stun for a stun. What do we got on the other side? Bjergsen love to Zed, showing love to one of his old champs here.
I feel like
Twitch and Lock.
he's kind of threatening this assassin to dissuade Pobelter from going back to Victor, because they haven't really been able to punish the early Victor picks. But assassins are one thing that you can try and use, especially if you're the team that does have the Gragas early game advantage for ganking. It's a risky style, but don't think they would pick it until they see a lock-in from CLG.
Yeah, well, it's interesting if TSM goes with Nautilus and Janna, which they do here. It's a great setup for Yasuo, aside from the fact that they'd still be low wave clear and again would be forced into having to fight every time CLG makes a rotation.
Yeah. But again, Gragas Janna picked up for double disengage options for their Kog'Maw.
Absolutely. This time, CLG wouldn't have the same disengage options if TSM picked Yasuo. It almost makes you want to see CLG pick it here, but then Yasuo can be disengaged, so a lot of mind games going on here. Basically, Zion gets to have his pick of the litter against top lane Nautilus, and Pobelter is in the unfortunate situation of having to pick his mid laner blind.
Still could decide to just go big tank. Zion has been quite the carry for the team so far. Why not be the Gnar? They've been playing around the bar perfectly, and his teleports have been on point. 3 games in a row for the Victor. If it's not broken, don't fix it. So much comfort for Pobelter here again in the mid lane.
And this is the type of team composition that CLG would play very standard team fights with. 3 big tanks, and they need to be able to protect the less mobile Victor and Ashe, who are going to be doing the majority of the damage here.
It's basically what you saw from CLG back in the day. Double of carry, go.
A little bit.
A little bit of damage from mid lane.
TSM have to be expecting this, Victor.
Yeah.
They've seen it already. They left it up. They didn't want to show their mid. So this is 100% something that they've planned and that Bjergsen is really comfortable in as a counter pick. And again, I really do think that we will see more of Santorin in the mid lane now because he is on the Gragas and because they have this, well, there it is. It's the Yasuo comp. They want to go for it.
And they need to support Bjergsen this time, because last time he got ganged up on early around level 4 when he got ganked in the mid lane. And it's the cornerstone of this TSM composition working. He needs to be the one who can provide threat onto Pobelter and double it through the tank line.
Yeah, they do have to be kind of careful. If they extend really far and deep for that pressure mid, Echo is actually really good at counter ganking. So even though Gragas can make the first move a lot better, Echo, if he's in the vicinity, does have a pretty good counter gank from Fog of War.
So seeing now 30 seconds on the clock, not a Jinx, not a Trist. Do we feel that CLG is going to back away from trying to crush down turrets, play more of a 2v2 lane, or do they stick with it?
That's going to be a really interesting adaptation. We can see if they can make it. Obviously, from a champion perspective, they're not as good at taking turrets quickly as before, and TSM still has the ability to initiate on them if they ever do rotations. So the CLG style that has been working with them is just inherently less effective with these team compositions.
We'll see if they can pivot. That's what the word has been coming into game number 3 here, and we are just about to get on the Rift. Make sure to head over to Twitter, hashtag TSM, hashtag CLG at LOL Esports, and we'll be tallying those up throughout the game, and you'll see at the bottom of the screen. This has been already an amazing series, an explosive 39 kill plus second game of the series as we go into game 3 and possibly that match point for Counterlogic Gaming if TSM cannot pull themselves back in.
Yeah, it is do or die time for TSM, absolutely. The number 1 seed is actually incredibly important. Even though TSM is already going to Worlds as first or second seed, being able to be in that top group at the Worlds for the group draw really impacts their matchup.
Other teams as well hanging on the win of this. Liquid hoping that TSM can pull themselves out of the rut here and start to get a victory. The players clearing their minds, entering the Rift now for game 3. It's Counterlogic Gaming versus Team SoloMid for your North American Summer Split LCS Finals. We're into game 3. Again, Pobelter on the comfort of Victor. 3 straight games in a row. Zion Spartan has been having great play in the top lane. And the TSM fans are still there and standing strong behind their team to get back in this series.
Fighting against the CLG chance as well, but TSM definitely audible through the noise of the crowd. Looks like we're getting some deep lane swap wards early. So definitely some tomfoolery to be happening early on in this one.
Trying to find the straggler there.
That's an unfortunate ward for CLG to be sitting on. I really, really like it when teams are going for these deep lane swap wards, when they place a ward in their own side of the jungle that they expect to be invaded on. It delays their push invade a little bit because someone had to go place that ward in the first place, but the potential for knowledge is just so great. They already saw with that one ward that Doublelift and Afrim have recalled to go bottom, and they know where Xmithy is starting his jungle. They really have knowledge of pretty much everyone.
Yeah, even with that knowledge, though, they're going with the safe answer to it. Oh, never mind. They are sending the duo over around. This is not the safe answer. They're looking to try and pick up the kill off of this red buff damage.
CLG has no idea.
While doing it. Really good side swipe here. They're going to come in from behind him. Will they answer the flash?
They got to go fast, otherwise he's going to get smited away.
You're going to be able to see him before they get through. The red buff does get stolen. Zion Spartan very low. And Smithy, flash is still up. He has a chance to make a play here, but he's got to walk him around. Does he waste more time now? Flash is down for Smithy. Not going to hurt too bad. Around 7 minutes, he'll have it back up. Hopefully he does not get in too much trouble for it.
Yeah, the great escape by Xmithy after he gets caught out, but honestly, an early game disaster for CLG nonetheless.
Yep.
Santorin gets the red buff. I think he also got the small monsters, so CLG has to walk away not only with low health bars, but also no experience from that. Maybe they did get one of the small ones, but that's still a big loss.
It's going to be an early recall from Zion Spartan. He is sitting at 300 HP with no potion, and Dyrus on full health Nautilus.
Well,
easily can bully.
That works even better. Now you know the junglers and the flash for top is down around 7 minutes. That could easily be a repeat, or I should say a first-time gank for the top lane for Team SoloMid. Things are about to slow down here as we are getting our first duo matchup in all the lanes.
This definitely keys up Santorin to make use of this Gragas early on. Not only does he have a lead on Echo, but he knows there are 2 flashes down on CLG, and there's a mid lane that he also wants to affect. So there are several options for him to go with.
Very safe at this point for him if he can kick it into high gear in just a few minutes. Bjergsen and Belter trading HP along with CS in the mid lane. Smithy doing at it. Going blues on each side. You can see Santorin a little bit faster of a clip here on his jungle.
Yeah, he better have.
Early having that red buff kind of helps. 3.5 minutes in, Santorin looks like he will start to get a little bit of an invade going towards the bot side. See if he can give Smithy any trouble, but he's already out.
Nice shot.
Yeah, I mean, just to call back to what happened at level 1, TSM knowing where CLG was going to be starting, the old super conservative TSM would have just used that knowledge to make sure they didn't fall behind early game, but to go in for the risk, go for the 2v2, attempt the smite steal, all big time risks.
There it is.
Santorin was trying to get the flash.
It's going to be. No way.
He was a minion? No minions.
That's the kind of things that TSM cannot have happen in the early game. They mirror imaged what they did to Bjergsen there, but completely aired it.
That is not what I meant when I said affect the mid lane for Santorin. All right, well, I guess technically he did get the exhaust out of Pobelter, but not worth it.
Specifically what happened there is Santorin was trying to threaten his body slam flash to make Pobelter flash away because his body slam was not going to connect. Pobelter kind of called him on his bluff, knowing he'd have the exhaust anyway, and also knowing that he was going to be in turret range if it did connect. And then Santorin ended up just taking turret shots and not burning the flash anyway, and it turned into a complete disaster.
Yeah, it all fell apart when Santorin didn't go immediately as Bjergsen got his knock up with Yasuo. You have to start walking right before that. There needs to be very clear communication so you can get to that lane because Pobelter's not that far extended.
A few of the lanes that are always getting the love from each other. Jungler to mid, jungler to top. It should definitely be clear calls in that situation. And we'll see if they can repair a bit of that mishap. Santorin's flash is now down pretty much equal with Xmithy in that aspect since the beginning of the game. Xmithy, however, now going to pick up his red, may be able to get effective off of that one as Santorin's going to be wearing off pretty soon here.
Yeah, that gank really fumbled Santorin's early edge. It gave Xmithy a lot of time to recover farm. It's also going to change the flash discrepancy on junglers, so the threat from Xmithy is going to be greater than the threat from Santorin in about 1 or 2 minutes when his flash comes back up.
All right. Stand behind me all the way up. Wild Turtle takes a hit, but they cannot get the concussive blows passive down on Winter's Bite to stop Wild Turtle. Good trade of damage back there. And Lustboy just getting the auto attacks in with the right shields as well. Pobelter has backed, so he had enough gold to get what he needed back in the lane. As you see, Smithy was going towards the bot side, but just grabbing Scuttle. So CLG happy actually with the error that TSM just did. Know they can use this time to breathe a little bit.
Yeah, it also bought time, for the top lane, which top lane already, here comes Santorin through lane.
Walk it off.
Afromove's got a dash, so. But anyways, the top lane there, their flashes are coming right back up, so will be a lot less vulnerable as well. And the options getting a lot smaller.
Yeah. I have to note that was a really poor gank by Santorin. He had no flash to threaten. There were no summoner spells threatening for CLG.
A Janna Cog lane is a hard lane to go for a lane gank.
Especially, yeah.
As Krog.
Especially with the minions at the turret. Like a lane gank could maybe work if he sneaks in the side brush.
Yeah.
And when he did that, he also provided a relief of pressure for both Pobelter and Zion Spartan because they know now that there's no way they're getting ganked by Santorin anytime soon.
Yeah, Smithy did spend that time trying to get some wards down for Pobelter in that mid lane. So trying to protect against that bottom side.
Keeps him safe, as well as no entry behind Dragon into that tri-brush if that wants to be Santorin's as well for bot lane. These guys 55 to 50, so no real discrepancy between those two. One will be cleaned up on the other as the waves push towards each other. As we make 8 minutes, definitely the slowest of our games here without any kills yet. We had seen first bloods by now, but it looks like both teams are playing very risk averse here to start after their errors.
I like this little ping up on top side from CLG. Zion Spartan communicating to Smithy that there's a ward in that brush. They just pinged it. And he's going to run right by it. They already got the engage here. Darius does get his hook off.
Yep.
So they did
timing.
have the information, just
They were trying to time that with the Mega Gnar right there, hoping to get it, but now TSM's actually primed for a counterattack. Nautilus plus Yasuo is a hell of a combo.
Santorin walked down on that one. Are they going to get another one? Where's the explosive cast go? No, Santorin's 5. They only have a bit of follow-up damage. Is it enough to get a kill, though? They do have Xmithy in. He flashes. Oh, it's going to be one left. Bjergsen might go down. The wind wall stops it. They're going to sit and look.
Pobelter is rolling up to
right
try
now.
and catch Bjergsen, but the rest of TSM would have to come down to help him.
Zion Spartan has an exit. They can walk him out. Big brother Pobelter comes up to walk everybody into safety, and they're going to be able to get out of that one.
the Secret Service escort there.
Getting a little chilly in
from
here.
Pobelter, able to get the low health members out from under the turret. Double lift, ruining his accuracy percentage.
Everybody calms down. Nothing to see here. No first blood has been had, despite the chaos and mayhem we just saw in the top lane. It does show that Darius is actually getting a pretty big edge on Zion Spartan. It all started with the level 1 in the jungle, but Darius has actually been pushing that advantage pretty well, and he's ahead of Zion Spartan in the defense versus offense arms race. Nautilus wants to get to his Frozen Heart and health stacking really soon. Zion Spartan wants to get to his Cleaver, and Darius has already been able to get that Glacial Trap.
Yeah, it's so difficult going to lane, already chunked and with no potion there. Takes away a lot of Gnar's early game where he wants to try and be the bully and harass from range.
It's good for Darius, though. He's had these games so far in this series where Zion Spartan or the duo has been able to take control. So for Darius to be starting off well on that front line tank Nautilus, it should help TSM in these mid-game fights. See if he can keep Zion Spartan down a bit. Phage built up now to Darius's Glacial Shroud as we start to pan out into this game. 10 minutes now. CLG feeling comfortable with their lead. They don't really have to pressure anything here. They can make TSM make all the moves.
Yeah, this is one of those games that looks more apt to be the TSM pace that they are comfortable with because it's very clearly going to be going into a team fight phase.
And this game, honestly, because of the level 1, should be more in favor than TSM. It's dead
last
even,
point!
and he gets caught in the first roam here.
He dodges the Time Winder, so he's going to be able to get out of that. The concussive blows almost cost him his life as they were all quickly procced out. A lot of resources used for Lustboy.
0 for 2.
That would have had to have been an atomic arrow if they wanted to get that one out. Pobelter may have been in laser range, though. They are still trying, still going into the jungle here after using ultimates. Have the summoners to do it. Let's see how they come out.
Both top laners also have teleport if this does erupt into a big-time fight, but with Lustboy being down summoner spells, it's kind of difficult for TSM to collapse on. Speaking of which, Bjergsen is looking for it.
Zion Spartan just charged up his Rage Bar for this, and Darius was huddling under his turret at the time. Both of them trying to prep for this fight. It goes down to a smite fight that Smithy wins.
Narbar in the top lane. This could be good timing if Darius can get out of this with a high amount of HP to teleport down. And a small Gnar for the fight. It still looks like the do-si-do here for wards in the bot. Smithy's going to pick up Scuttle, and actually everybody disperses from the area for now for Dragon.
That invade, though, from CLG to catch Lustboy, that was so lucky for TSM that both Santorin and Lustboy were level 6 for the double disengage. That's why we keep highlighting the Janna and the Gragas.
And I think we're going to be seeing more of that as this game moves towards the team fight phase. The fact that TSM has actually taken so much disengage is looking to hamstring CLG's aggression a little bit. Obviously, CLG has good initiation tools, maybe even great initiation tools. Ash Arrow, plus Echo, plus a Gnar ultimate all together. But the disengage is also so great. So it's going to be a really cute back and forth of who can engage on whom. TSM actually would have the more reliable initiation, mainly because CLG doesn't have the same disengage tools. And one Yasuo ultimate can wreak havoc.
And what just happened here was there was a ward up top. Santorin walked on the ward. Very clear call there from CLG. We've got information on the jungler. Punish him on the opposite side of the map. Easily done, very well executed. They get the dragon for it. Santorin doesn't get anything for his gank. And recalls from the brush in River. So not much gain for him on the top side. Still struggling a bit.
CLG should definitely know, or be knowing what they're looking at. 4 out of the last 6 wins at the end of the split were Janna Gragas compositions. TSM had a few of them themselves, but CLG, this is their bread and butter composition that they've been running.
Slowed for this arrow.
Yeah, well, CLG loves being able to choose their own engagements, so that's why their disengage is so valuable, especially with their style of constantly pushing up to enemy turrets and just sieging them down again and again. Incredibly pivotal.
Santorin is waiting for another lane counter gank here, but look at this. Pobelter comes in from behind the turret.
Counter the counter gank?
And the teleports as well.
Oh, Pobelter, like you said, from behind the turret. They weren't expecting him right away. The exhaust for the body slam as well, mitigating some of the damage. Belter stays alive. The laser just missing. One more attack. Nobody's going through the turret. A good call as well. CLG may have gone deeper there previously, but CLG wants the turret now.
It's miraculous the Pobelter made it to that spot without being seen or called by Bjergsen from the mid lane. That's so much of the pressure from Victor being able to shove up the lane and then roam. Eventually, he can get where he wants to go.
Well, it's also because of the wards they laid down to get that dragon. They've got double pink wards in the river, so Pobelter can feel confident pushing his lane and then roaming. Gets all the way behind the turret, and even with the teleport answered from Dyrus having to cancel it there, CLG, another first blood.
Yeah, as you said, he walks through the double pinks in the river to get there. Afro gets super aggressive because they're honestly planning a dive. Santorin looks like he's going to throw a wrench into things, and it's actually Zion with the clutch interrupt. If Nautilus came in there, this could have been a much different fight.
Definitely would have turned towards TSM favor.
Those little things continue to fall in CLG's favor, and they're not just falling in, I should say, absolutely rewarding to the plays they're making.
Oh, he missed the sweep.
Ooh. Yeah. Just over on the other side. The rest of CLG is going to be here to party. And it looks like we got a crowd, actually. A whole 5v5 may go on after this one. Bjergsen throws out the wall. Concussive blows is down. Smithy goes in by himself. The team can't really close that gap just yet. Dyrus takes the arrow to the face. Should be safe in this situation with the flash out. A lot of back and forth there with some summoner spells.
TSM do take down the turret, but CLG now pressing back. They want to answer here.
And there's the Gragas disengage down, the Nautilus ult down. Bjergsen doesn't have very many ways to get into the fight at this point. So CLG feeling pretty confident to move up. The Gragas body slam could still net Bjergsen a nice knock-up target.
That's true.
Let's play
Howling Gale.
Almost got the setup there with the tornado.
Just setting up for the fight. Both teams staring into the white of each other's eyes right now. This one has to... Actually, Dyrus just back without teleport there.
The punishment as well. TSM doesn't really have wave clear to stop this as well, so it's a lot of damage they can get down. Kog'Maw doing his best with the Gragas. Really almost no turret damage goes down. I wonder how long TSM will hold this as Dyrus pushes down the bottom lane.
Yeah, the reason CLG were doing this is because they had a big wave down bottom. Now they know that Dyrus is down there without teleport because of Zion being able to cancel it in the last play. So they were going to get a turret either way. It was either a bunch of damage from the minions down bottom, or they had to give up the outer turret, and CLG, their pressure is rewarded.
Yep, they can disperse now, leave a double lift towards that top side to free farm as he loves to. We'll see what kind of core items we get on. 15 minutes in. Yeah, that is going to be Afro Moves.
The king!
If he wasn't slowing you enough already.
Oh wow, and CLG gets an ideal solo turret kill for Doublelift. They love being able to isolate him with turrets since he is such a core part of their late game team fighting strategy. Surprising they're able to get that solo kill 16 minutes into the game.
Yeah, funnily enough, slow's no longer stacked, so red buff on Braum.
Virtually useless.
Pretty much. But he gets regeneration, so.
And the damage. If he hits him, you get the burn.
Yeah, man.
It's true. That hot ice. 22, or rather 2K ahead as they're at 24,000 gold right now. CLG, the small leads they've had, they have been able to catapult those into very, very large leads, and it happens quick, not usually slowly throughout the game. We've seen ace upon ace in these games right now. One for TSM, one for CLG, and CLG is always coming up in the Dragon fights when it matters, when their waves are ready to push a turret. TSM usually has a few things to repair. Again, CLG ready at the turret. See if TSM can hold this one off for now. Looks like they'll have the power in numbers, but that may be the only safe way to travel for the time being.
I'm very curious if, so Aphromoo in enemy territory here, but he's able to get out.
Yeah.
I'm curious if Pobelter will go with a more defensive build like Doublelift as well, since Doublelift rushed for the Bloodthirster that he likes to do. He's going to have a shield for Yasuo all in.
Gets super aggressive.
But that would just, oh!
All right, he still wants
Nice
it.
wind wall.
Glacial Fissure fizzled out. Nothing coming of it there. The wind wall from Bjergsen perfectly placed down. TSM gets another look at the fight.
Yeah, and the Dragon setup had been favoring CLG with vision control, but now they are down a Gnar teleport as well as a flash ultimate onto Aphromoo. Pretty much nothing bird from TSM. So if TSM was going to take a fight, it would be around now. They just have to make sure not to be in the corridor to eat the Victor damage.
The only thing for TSM that's bad is that Turtle's really low on mana, and Kog'Maw actually does rely significantly on that for the team fight. Looks like they're going to come up and fight.
This is almost surely a fight.
Zion Spartan still level 10. There's a lot of level 11s on the side of Team SoloMid. Dyrus hooks out of that one. TSM trying to restructure this one for themselves. The Gnar bar is out. They're trying to wait for that to cool down, but their health bars are not going to last that long. Chaos Storm slowly chasing as it starts to go out, and they now want to re-engage, just like outside their base. They're trying to calculate when and when not they can go in for this. And Dragon looks like he's just going to be angry for this entire time. Nobody has the focus.
Dragon wins that team fight. Fights both teams off. Everybody has to
fight another day. So many resources burned from that one. Low mana on tons of people. Turtle's going to stick around to try and finish this turret, but this means he's going to be slow on the next Dragon fight. This actually could cost TSM the next Dragon, the fact that Turtle's trying to push this wave in. He already had his Trinity Force, and he's only sitting on 700 gold, so the fact that he didn't get the turret, that's actually very critical.
Yeah, he's going to be really slow back out there now.
It's basically CLG's Dragon. All right.
Unfortunate turn of events. Again, the small things that continue to affect Team SoloMid negatively in these games.
I have to point out the respect that TSM was giving Zion Spartan to Gnar in that last team fight. His timing of jumping in with Mega Gnar has been impeccable throughout this series, but that one was the same. And as he jumped in, the entire fight dispersed. TSM actually would have had the upper hand, but they themselves reset the fight because Zion was going to get such an amazing Gnar ultimate.
The wave not partially cleared by Monsoon, so there was no follow-up of Voidoo's. A full minion wave helps them take down mid-turret now. We'll see what they can do with 15 seconds towards Baron. There's no coverage there, and it's still about the Dragon.
Oh, that vision.
That's a stun on Lust Boy.
Deja vu for Lust Boy. Can he get out of it the second time? The arrow hits this time, however, and now they're on to Bjergsen. He tried to cover, dangle that carrot to the entire team. This might be a bad pinch for Counter Logic Gaming. If Bjergsen can get back in, he goes in for Smithy, but gets taken down immediately with that Time Winder. They're going to start trading kills back and forth. Wild Turtle in a bad spot. Doublelift may be able to clean up a few more before a Cathian surprise, and he does get one. A double kill for Turtle in his death, and CLG come up with the ace at 20 minutes.
Another bloodbath fight, but this one favors CLG because of the ace. Incredibly close back and forth, but ultimately because Lustboy was caught at the start of the fight, CLG gains the upper hand.
Yep, they're going to get the Dragon off it. They also had bottom wave pushing, so it does get to the turret. Lustboy's going to be there to try and salvage these minions. Looks like he's going to even hold it here and wait for Turtle to arrive.
Yeah, such a close fight here because of how tight the corridor was.
This is what preparation and vision control will do for you. Lustboy didn't have his ultimate, the long cooldown from that last team fight, and they do take him out.
So Bjergsen actually used Last Breath onto Double Lift really early on in the fight, and then he flashed the arrow after that. So everyone's incredibly low as they're chasing after this one.
Turtle
Really?
not able to choose the target there. Does get another stack of Grom on him, and Double Lift procs it for the kill.
Yeah. Double Lift with his Bloodthirster Ash, more defensive capabilities. If it was an Eye-Edge Ash, he would have been zeroed out at the start of that fight and wouldn't have been able to do damage. That's really important in the greater context of this, because that also would have meant that Bjergsen, since he would have taken fewer auto attacks from Ash, may have even cleaned up that fight with Yasuo as he was trying to dash through the sides at the end of that one.
Chronologic Gaming playing very smooth right now in the series as well. We can also see why Ash pretty much taken away from them that first game. They can just go clean initiations now, being up.
Yeah, and the second half of that I was wondering about a couple minutes ago is would Pobelter also build with the defensive route? And he has gone with the early Zhonya's this time, deviating from the last game.
Afro gets really aggro. They get Wild Turtle!
Turtle in the back. He's going to go down immediately. Xmithy finds his priority target. Santorin follows. Here we go. Xmithy on the double kill. They're chasing for Dyrus and Lustboy. But do CLG head down mid? No, they start tailing onto TSM. Time Winder doesn't hit. They have to choose a new target.
CLG is not giving TSM time to breathe. Right after the Dragon goes down, they go right back to the mid lane. They're using their chains of initiation really well there. Turtle had the cleanse down, meaning he was a target for the arrow, and that moves into a 22-minute Baron attempt.
This is honestly a CLG we see playing past when CLG was their best. These guys are playing amazingly from top to bottom. Xmithy is showing up well now with big criticisms in the beginning of the split for him, as well as Pobelter. Will he show up? And he is.
Yeah, coming into this series as well, CLG, the only way they ought to qualify for Worlds is if they win this. If they lose, they'd have to go play in the regional qualifier. So a 3-0 here is of so much importance.
They've provided themselves with the path here. The first time they're seeded into playoffs as well. They get a chance to look at the other teams, see what they're up against, and they just take it to them. It really seems to be that year for CLG, but TSM still has a say. Only 23 minutes into game number 3. They are still alive in this series and still fighting back.
Yeah, we're kind of reaching that critical mass point for CLG, though, because it is a 6,000 gold lead with the Baron buff, and this is exactly the moment when CLG wants to have the Baron buff. Wild Turtle can't clear the minions. He's not farmed enough yet, especially Baron minions, and the core weakness, as you will, of a Yasuo mid is your susceptibility to siege, especially when the other team has Baron buff. Basically, it's a 5,500 gold differential, and if TSM wants to stop the turret cascade, they have to fight with that difference.
Plus, they don't even just have to be worried about the siege. CLG are also very well prepared to go for a dive as well. These side turrets are even more dangerous to defend.
Yeah, I mean, the outer turrets are the dangerous ones, but at the same time, if they let the outer ones be taken, the gold lead balloons into 9,000 and 10,000, and the game becomes even more insurmountable. So you'd almost think this is the do-or-die moment for TSM, but really, there's such a small win condition if they do fight.
Yep. Flexing their muscles here with parallel convergence just to get the push off of the turret as it goes down. Still going to work this Baron buff towards the bottom lane. Getting this inhibitor would really open up the map for Counterlogic Gaming, something they've owned pretty much every game from the get-go. Even with a bit of a mistake this game, they've been able to route that and find themselves back into an advantage.
Yeah, with this Baron buff, they can just continue to switch targets, move over to the next secondary turret here. They're laying down wards as they travel through the jungle, keep TSM boxed up inside their own base so that TSM's own wards will expire. Here they go for the initiation, though. They found double lift.
Might be getting themselves a little too sure of that. I don't think this is going to work. Afromu goes down. False sense of security for CLG. They feel like they're a little more powerful, maybe. Still staying for the fight, a 5v4 as they start to split up. Bjergsen in a 1v1 now with Xmithy. That did not look like it was going his way, and he has to back off. Dyrus now for the peel, but he goes to the front. Bjergsen called for that. They wanted the last breath. Zion Spartan's able to hit it. Double It stays alive with the Bloodthirster build. Lustboy in the middle. The Monsoon goes off, but it's all he's got for the team. TSM is now all for themselves. Can Santorin stay alive? No, he does over the wall. Yes, another kill coming in for Echo. Xmithy comes up. That's a triple over the entire fight, and I don't think they're going to be able to clean it finally. Dyrus stays alive after the initiation with Santorin.
TSM finds the impossible fight. Down 7,000 gold against a Baron team. They actually get a clean engage in the jungle that isn't in defense of their turrets right there. This type of fight is the only thing that can keep TSM alive in this game, and they got it.
And they barely came out. They barely came out with some gold after it, too.
Yeah, I mean,
now,
CLG was so spread at the start of this one.
Yeah, so this one, initially, Doublelift actually able to juke Santorin and flash as well at the same time. There's a desync between Dyrus and Santorin. Santorin actually knocks Pobelter out of the way from the hook. But then the big re-engage is here, where they set up Bjergsen for the Yasuo ultimate. It's the Janna into the hook here, and he's able to get to. Pobelter gets annihilated.
That's the biggest thing in this fight is Pobelter getting annihilated. Zion Spartan doesn't quite get Mega Gnar at the right time.
The Lust Boy reset of the fight for TSM.
Yeah.
Smithy did have a pretty big ulti there on Echo, though.
Also, we have to point out that Smithy is 7-0 on Echo, the tank Echo, meaning the DPS of CLG is not the main holders of this 6,000 gold advantage, so the teamfights will be a little bit closer. TSM corner themselves off. I think we got another fight on our hands.
Bit of a shield there in the Parallel Convergence, but they are on to Xmithy. He's going to be out of the fight. Whoa! Jumping straight in. Double up now coming from the top side. Zion Spartan had a beautiful ultimate as they continue the fight. TSM definitely in retreat on this one as they lose Santorin. They're on their way for Lustboy now. He should have the movement speed to get away, and this should mean some lane pressure coming in.
But they're on the wrong side of the map, Riv. This is TSM running into CLG's base.
Yeah, it's a full retreat. They are so scattered right here. Bjergsen is turned tail and red. CLG's actually pretty low in this chase, but they should clean up.
Luckily
they're up.
for Team SoloMid, CLG's waves are still on CLG's side of the map, but there is a dragon that's alive, and that's TSM pretty much losing any pressure. They just gained
got the slow
advantage out of the last fight. Winter's Spark across the top side of the wall. Afro flashed over Raptor Pit to make it count. The plays keep coming.
The great bait.
TSM sticking around in the lane just for some minion farm there. Wow, CLG just took over with that.
The amount of pressure these teams are under right now, Kobe. Madison Square Garden, TSM been in every single LCS final. CLG never won an LCS final. TSM does not want to let their longtime rivals pick up the first round, and they are down not only 2-0 in the series, but also by a substantial amount of gold in this game. They are sticking around because they're trying to claw their way back, and they do not have the fallback pattern of wave clear that they are so accustomed to having, so they have to fight.
Yeah, the only pattern that they do have is a full wombo fight, and they haven't been able to do it.
Very interesting setup that we see TSM going with. Yasuo played by Zion Spartan. Not seen too much of Bjergsen coming out of the season, coming out of any of the playoffs. Now Yasuo, each side of the map. Does not seem like Team SoloMid was ready. That communication still on the engages. Lustboy's been there to save a lot of people, not to help a fight reset and go back in.
The only thing TSM are hoping for now is finding somebody out of position. Trying to punish CLG for splitting up, trying to use a numbers advantage, but looks like CLG already flanking around. Afro moves real deep in their territory, laying down wards, prepping for this Baron. CLG gonna try and bait in and get one of the picks with their Ash Arrow if TSM try and check this Baron.
Dyrus trying to add a little bit of pressure on the bottom.
It would be from the fog, so
waiting.
Have a potential clean shot.
Santorin might have a pretty good move.
Really poor vision control by TSM here. They have a Scrying Orb as well as a Kog'Maw to try and scout the brushes, but if they miss one of them, it's either a Baron going down or a clean fight for CLG, and at this juncture in the game with the lead that CLG has already accumulated, could very well be the NALCS Championship.
Ooh, the team called for a shot due to the fact that they had TSM split on the left and bottom side. Dyrus is the only one getting hit, right. And it does not look like they want to follow. Chaos Storm, 50% HP. Wild Turtle does get hit by the boomerang, but there's not much follow-up right now. And it looks like Team SoloMid able to take a breath here after almost getting engaged on.
Well, this is all the preparation of CLG. They prep the top
still
wave.
in their favor.
They prep the top wave before they start doing these Baron baits. So even if it's unsuccessful, they got a big wave into the turret there. Bjergsen's forced to move up, and CLG retreat.
And now Turtle's at half health from the last half engage, so he needs the time to lifesteal off of this one, whereas CLG really didn't take the damage from that. Ash Arrow already half off of cooldown. They are trying their best to keep the pressure applied.
They don't have much to save each other either, other than that Monsoon. Cleanse and
they get the stuns.
That's on the Turtle. Still can't cleanse. He tries to use it, but he still gets hit so hard. Flown into the fight. Turtle's alive with the Storm Shield from Lustboy as he's keeping an eye, and the team is peeling, but CLG continues to try for the kills.
Lustboy with the flash Monsoon.
Ridiculous.
He can only do that once every 5 minutes, though. Can't afford to make that mistake again. That cost them the flash not only on Lustboy, but also all of Turtle's summoners as well. He is extremely vulnerable now.
Yeah, and TSM is also in an incredibly inconvenient part of the game. There are Frozen Hearts and Randwin's Omens completed on the side of CLG, and the physical damage dealers of Yasuo and Kog'Maw on TSM's side are not even close to Last Whisper. Turtle gets hit on him!
Way. Backing right in the middle around Baron. They had the ward, but there was still vision. And it looks like Santora may go down next. Bjergsen will definitely follow. CLG is absolutely cleaning up in the middle of the rift right now. Team SoloMid gets caught backing.
You can only hold out for so long against this relentless pressure from CLG. The Ash Arrow finds itself true once again, and CLG goes for Baron.
They burned all of Turtle summoners in the last engage. This, barring an... Okay, if that Tornado steals... All right, it's not been long enough. Afro's going to stop it, and CLG grab Baron.
Little love for Bloodwater. It's all right, though. Didn't happen.
It's been done before.
Oh, my gosh. This, however, by CLG has not been done before. What stellar play coming into the playoffs throughout as well, and through the end of the season. They said themselves, we came out of a slump. It's always easy to hear somebody say that and feel good for them, but they are absolutely showing that they came out. We'll see this once again in this
Turtle
replay.
didn't walk into the brush with the rest of his team that was under Pink Ward cover.
Wow.
And that prompted the Ash Arrow from Doublelift. Game-defining recall fail right there from Wild Turtle. The rest of CLG can just pile
And
it.
you have to figure how strong CLG thinks they are. With Pink Ward coverage in that, it might just be a Turtle bait. But they didn't care at all.
Now, logging down Turtle, he's had to use his cleanse pretty much on cooldown this game.
Yeah, it was already
There's
down.
been so much focus on him. And now another Baron buff push. And the only way TSM defends is with the fight.
Down to the bottom turret. Same story, just on the other side of the map. Counterlogic Gaming was here around the same time last game. 1 minute on Dragon brings them to 4. It's something they may not even need to go for. They're not onto the turret just yet. They're actually going for more kills still with the arrow down. And they give a little of assurance to Team SoloMid that they can hang out for a bit. Smithy does have the chrono break to get into a good situation, but his Shadow's now still inside, so he can fight. Afromu going salami, tanking that turret. He knows he goes down. He's letting the team fight, just tanking the turret completely, knowing Counterlogic Gaming is stronger. The double kill, the triple kill now coming in for Pobelter. Doublelift's gonna clean one up. 40 seconds on the clock, boys.
And the faithful shall be rewarded. CLG take the inhibitor. They're going to take the Nexus turrets, and they're going to take a trip to Worlds.
This is going to be it. Counterlogic Gaming fighting every season since there has been one, and now taking down Team SoloMid at Madison Square Garden to be your 2015 Summer Split champions.
A well-earned trio by CLG. They crafted the team compositions, they stepped up to the pressure, and they executed time and time again when it mattered. Huge kill scores in these games against TSM. They fought early and often, and they don't drop a single game throughout the playoffs.
Absolutely crazy. 3-0. Counterlogic Gaming over Team SoloMid. And Counterlogic Gaming is your 2015 North American Summer Split champion. Something they have wanted for so long, and you know what? It's something the fans wanted for a long time as well, so I'm sure they're happy to give it to them.
Just going back throughout LCS history, all the times that CLG has been hyped up going into the playoffs and then just fallen flat on their face, you almost never thought this moment would come. But it just happened. 3-0 against TSM.
And it was due to contributions from every single member on the team.
Every bit of it.
And there's the trophy.
A lot of hard work these guys put in to get here today. Every split would start to drown out towards the end. This one started to go uphill, and you know what? They went to the top.
Also to come to New York in Madison Square Garden and have by far their best playoff performance ever. X-Smithy, no memes for this one.
Nope.
Other than great Echo and Gragas ultimates throughout.
Absolutely
Doesn't have a good ring to
ridiculous.
it, so it's not going to catch on, but it's still impressive.
Yeah, you're going to need some work on that, Jack.
Doublelift getting his chance at Worlds. The supporting staff of Counter Logic Gaming, coaches, analysts, and the like, all part of this win right here. Fantastically played by the team.
Huhi as well, very rarely mentioned since we haven't seen him on the stage, but coming in, practicing with Pobelter in the mid lane.
Over and over.
Their coach, Blurred Lines, never on the stage with them for picks and bans because that is done by their analyst, Zeke's Law. So really
right.
the whole crew out there for CLG basking in the victory.
That's right. All right. Right now we are going to send it down to the stage where Dash is standing by with your 2015 North American Summer Split champions.
That's right, Riv. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, your 2015 North American Summer Split champions, Counter Logic Gaming. Hotshot, I've got to come to you because this has been a long time coming for you, your organization, and your team. How does it feel to know that you can hold this trophy high above your head proudly for the first time with all of these guys up here on stage?
I mean, I'm speechless. It's been years of blood, sweat, and tears for all of us. Sorry, my throat's shot. But it's truly magical to be here. Thank you.
Much deserved cheers and standing ovation from the crowd. Now turning to the team, you know, this has been a dream of yours, but to have been able to make it with all of these guys here and have them be a part of it, now you're standing here on stage with them and you're gonna get to celebrate it. What does that mean? What would you like to say to these guys that helped make your dream come true?
No, thank you guys. You guys have been my brothers for the past 3 years, and you mean so much to me, and this means so much to me, so thank you.
Well, I've got one more question for you because let's not forget that winning this title means you're going to represent North America as the #1 seed at the World Championships. That's right, that's right. In front of Madison Square Garden. Tell everybody what it means to go there and how you feel your team is going to do on the big stage.
I mean, we're already ready. We already booked our tickets. We're already ready to go. So we knew this was coming, baby.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen, your 2015 North American Summer Split Champions, Counter Logic Gaming. We're going to get an opportunity to talk to the rest of the team in just a moment, so stick around for that. But for now, we're going to throw it up to the analyst desk to close out the series. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Dask, Rivington, and crew here now in the Analyst Lounge, and what an emotional interview that was. Definitely getting a little choked up, but CLG put all their emotions onto the riff, so it was just a perfect series.
It's been so long since CLG had a victory. I mean, they left the first time that they went to Korea years and years ago is when TSM took over North America, and they won all domestic anything.
Yeah.
And it's just been so long time coming. You can see how choked up Hotshot gets because he's been working towards this forever.
And I mean, Hotshot down the line, and we said it right before Game 3, but every single person on this roster played ridiculously well. Pobelter got to keep playing Victor. He was a huge damage source up against Bjergsen, one of the mid laners who gets the most help and some of the most accolades across North American LCS. Did just fine in that matchup. Smithy was absolutely massive on the Gragas and on the Echo. Every single person deserved that win there.
It's almost like a fairy tale, honestly. CLG always losing in the playoffs, then miraculously go on after a losing streak in the regular season where the collapse was set upon once again. Not only do they win, they go undefeated, they beat TSM on the biggest stage, and then the crowd chants CLG right after TSM has been going down. Just unbelievable what just happened.
Really a dream. Now they get to carry on to Worlds, the first time that they're doing that from first seed. It has to feel very good.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of work ahead of them because the Worlds patch is going to be very different, so they can't get laxed. They've got a lot of preparation. They have to continue to evolve as a team and continue to put in hard work.
But that is something I think CLG have right up their alley here, honestly. Their duo lane, these guys have like run around playing Blitz Thresh duo before, so if Mordekaiser shows up as a big deal, they're already ready for the double melee lanes.
Zion's all about the juggernauts.
Right. You got big juggernauts up there. That's completely there for Zion Spartan. Nick Smith, he's been known to adapt quite well. Honestly, this is, I think, going to be a really positive end of the year for CLG. I have really high hopes for them.
I couldn't imagine a more positive end of the year.
Yeah.
Looking at how Team SoloMid did, reflecting on that performance, what is something that can kind of take a team by storm like that and make them kind of just lose everything?
I think there's definitely a lot of improvements that TSM can make. Anytime you are the victim of a 3-0, some holes were exposed in your strategy and your team play. They had poor early games. They were not taking the proper risks. They were reacting. And they also, despite picking Yasuo, were never the superior team in the team fights. They were holding off and weren't actually the ones picking the fights. It was always CLG, and Yasuo was trying to react to them. So TSM got very outplayed in this series.
I mean, TSM throughout the playoffs, when they were winning games, and especially in the Team Liquid set, it was because they had really strong late games. And we saw actually their games against TL were reasonably close for a long time. You had many 50-minute games, but they had superior team fighting by the very end of it all. CLG is a much faster-paced, much riskier team than TL was, and so you even saw these flaws last week with TSM. They could even look back to that previous set and still learn lessons from those games. I like that CLG played so aggressively to abuse all those weaknesses, but when you're getting broken apart in the first 20 minutes, that's hard to change.
That's the thing with CLG. They've been taking these risks, and some of them have been punished fairly heavily, yet they didn't drop a game to Impulse or to TSM.
Yeah, and one thing that changed about CLG through this playoffs versus the past playoffs is it's the first time they took their own style into playoffs and didn't abandon it. Right? Because they've had good regular seasons in the past, and they completely change up everything, but they stayed strong, they refined their strategies, they got over their jitters, and they just crushed it.
Well, every player on CLG absolutely came up big today, but the player that claimed the championship MVP was Zion Spartan. He played with so much confidence, made huge outplays to get his team ahead, and the results speak for themselves throughout the series.
Every single time, CLG got him a good laner, a player that could make solo impact here. Game 1 was all about his Yasuo coming into the team fights. They set him up beautifully. This guy has been great for so long. He's finally unlocked his full potential, and the fact that he's playing his style, CLG's playing around it, makes it all better.
Absolutely well-deserved there from Zion Spartan, outplaying multiple members of the TSM at the same time.
Remember, back it was second day week 6 or first day week 7, I was casting with Zyrene, and I said, why don't they put Zion Spartan back on those champions where he just controlled the top lane? Then we got like a Fizz and a Kennen out of him and some different champions, and he just started controlling the game. And I was like, where was this before?
Yeah, I do have to point out as well just how well the rest of CLG was playing as well. Like, this is a series where Doublelift got a pentakill. And we're giving the MVP to Zion Spartan because he played so well. Like, there were some tremendous outplays by the entire CLG team.
I think if you're going to hold a vote for who would win, though, I think you'd have at least 10% for all 5 members down the line, though. So many important things happen for so many members of CLG. It's almost a disservice to everyone else just to highlight Zion Spartan. I think every single person, whether it was the person behind them doing the picks and bans or the 5 players on there, it was a huge team effort. Everybody played their minds out.
Yep, we're currently setting up on stage for a full player interview, so we'll have that in just a few moments as we continue to talk about the game here. Looking at CLG's composition, if you could dissect it, if you were somebody on the outside of TSM, what would you even hit first?
Yeah, well, one thing that happened with CLG is they actually did draft pretty strong team fighting compositions to complement their early game strength because they were able to transition some of the early game into the later game. So honestly, if you had a more aggressive early game team to try and get the lead on what was a team fighting composition for the last game, maybe you could have seen some rewards.
But overall, I think it was CLG.
I'm sorry, I got stuck because I had a good pun that I was going to get for free.
Please.
But then I held on to it. I didn't want to do it.
What's the good pun?
It's over.
There's
no need.
Fast.
All right. We're actually ready on stage, guys. We're going to throw it down. We're going to send it back down to Dash for a word with the champions.
Thank you, gentlemen. I am here. We heard from Hotshot earlier. We heard from the analysts. Now we get an opportunity to speak to the players themselves. who won this trophy here, 3-0 over TSM, the members of Counterlogic Gaming. I'm coming all the way over to you first, Double Lift, as you're a person who has lived through the memes, has lived through the criticism. Now, I say this because there's a great sign out here that says, "Savage memes can't melt playoff dreams."
That poster is MVP.
Exactly. But in all seriousness, how does it feel to be sitting up here on the stage knowing that you are now an LCS champion?
This is probably the best day of my life. Right next to when I chose to become a pro player. Today is just, I don't know how to say it. It's just amazing. And I just want to say that, you know, there's been times in my career where even I don't believe in myself and everyone's telling me I should quit, I'm washed up and I'll never win anything, and that's just like a running joke. And it was these guys. It was these guys who made me keep going and believed in me. So I love you guys.
Let's take a second to hear from the rest of these guys then. Zion, coming to you. You know, we've run some video features throughout the show, and you very specifically outlined that you wanted to become a champion in Madison Square Garden and show that you can compete at that level. Well, you've done it. How does that feel for you?
It just feels freaking amazing. Like, I have to be honest, like, thank you, fans, for just being so amazing at Madison Square Garden. You guys made this game just so awesome. And I just wanted to give you guys like a thank you. But it's just, we've all been losers, you know? We've been pros, like all of us have been pros for like 2 or 3 years, and we've all been through relegations, but we haven't really like won anything, you know? And to like finally come up and be like, all right, we're done being losers, like we're gonna play like a team. And that's what I feel like on CLG right now. I feel like we're a team. And that's the first time that I can say that in my pro career, that we're actually playing like a team. I think that we're the first team in NA that will actually make a difference at Worlds. I think we can actually win the whole thing.
There you have it, there you have it. Going through those peaks and valleys together. Smithy, can you speak to a little bit of what Zion is pointing at in terms of the teamwork and how you guys went from being a team that at one point was almost relegated to winning the summer split?
Well, mainly it was because of everyone's wants.
The mic up a little.
Oh, everyone was willing to improve in our team, so I think that's the main impact that happened to us. And half of it is the coaching staff that we have, like Chris, Tony, like they did a lot for us, like a lot. So I think we can give it credit to them. We'll see.
You can see the emotion on the stage when they took the stage with you guys, how close you are as an organization. Now I'm coming to you, Pobelter. Your first playoffs ever, and you are a champion, right? There you have it right there. You know, it was pointed out at some point during the broadcast today that people, you know, always point to potential when they look at CLG. And for so long, people looked at you as an individual with having so much potential, and you fulfilled that potential. So what does this championship mean to you?
So I was actually on a team that was relegated last split. Before that, I was on a team that went to relegations every split before today. My personal record for TSM was 0-12. So it just feels like, I feel like I just beat the final boss of North America, you know, in front of like however many people this is, and it just feels really, really good.
That's fabulous to hear. Lastly, Aframu, coming to you. I want to talk about these people out here, the fans of CLG, the people that have been with CLG, both old and new, those who have been there for the entire ride and those who have jumped, you know, over to that camp recently or from whenever. What have they done? How have they helped you guys in your fight to push for the title?
I think pretty sure all of us read CLG Gaming on Reddit, our CLG subreddit. So we always pay attention to what people say about us, good or bad. And it really, gives us a lot of motivation, especially to prove the naysayers wrong a lot. And also, it definitely feels good to give back to the fans that have been with us for so long.
All right, now I want to take a brief opportunity to kind of jump into this series. I want to get your thoughts on how this series actually played out, as it was a 3-0, so I imagine that feels great. Touching on individual performances, though, expectations coming in and the way you went. So Zion, I am going to start back down here with you. You played phenomenally across the games in this series. Some fantastic plays, Yasuo and Anar, fantastic Anar play, peeling for the back line. You said you wanted to perform as a champion. Against Dyrus, a veteran, a person who's been at the top for so long. How does it feel? How do you feel that matchup played out?
The last game I got a little bit behind, but besides that, I knew that TSM would just put Dyrus on tanks because that's their whole strategy, right? Get Bjergsen ahead. So I knew that that was like our biggest mismatch, like my biggest opportunity to get ahead, because they try to funnel a lot of resources into Bjergsen, and that leaves Dyrus exposed a lot of times. So playing carries against TSM is probably like the best time for me to play carry. So I felt like this was my set. If I just had the right mindset, respected Dyrus because he is a good player, but understood that I could take advantage of that, and I just stayed calm and then took all the advantages I could, and my team just did a really good job of getting me ahead every game. Like that first game, like Afro especially just does such a good job like controlling the team and just shot calling in general, and I really want to give him extra applause, and just everyone on my team, because I couldn't have done it without them. I really, this is the first time I just had a team behind my back, and I feel like I can play to my fullest ability with them on my team.
Well, obviously, there were great performances across the board. Since you mentioned Afromu and the playmaking, the shot calling there, Afro, and this was also Xmithy, so the two of you can bounce this one back and forth. Going into this matchup against TSM, knowing how much focus generally goes to the mid lane and how Lustboy can sometimes adapt that same roaming support style, how did you guys feel you were going to be able to attack that best going into the matchup?
Go ahead, man.
He didn't like the question, so you get to answer it.
Well, I just relied on my team, on the information that we get. Usually everyone's pretty on top of their calls, so everyone, we trusted each other. So I think that's pretty much how we pretty much won team fights every time, so we can just listen to each other. Yeah.
All right.
Yep, these four guys did a great job, guys. Great. They definitely stayed on top of their game and made sure that everyone in the opposing role that they play was kept in check, and it was pretty much a walk in the park, walking on that.
Boom. There it is. A walk in the park. Let's look forward a little bit now. Let's look into the future, because as was mentioned prior, #1 seed now for North America going into the World Championships. Double if this has been a dream of yours, as the rest of these gentlemen here on stage. For you particularly, you've wanted to prove yourself individually, the fact that you can compete at the highest level. You're going to get that opportunity. How do you think CLG is going to do on the world stage?
Well, this has been CLG's first chance in 3 years to play at a big international tournament like Worlds. And yeah, we're going to do everything we can. Like, we did everything we could to beat TSM, and it was free SM, so. So you can expect to hear back from us at Worlds, doing pretty well, hopefully.
All right. Well, that happiness, that news of great happiness does come with news of great sadness. It means that you won't be able to join me on the analyst desk this year.
I know. I'll miss you guys.
Yeah, would you like to say goodbye? Maybe wave to it from here?
It's been a good run.
Your insight will be missed, but having the opportunity to watch you play will far surpass that. Pobelter, again, kind of continuing along this trend of firsts for you. You're now going to get to go to the World Championship. You played against Bjergsen in this matchup, so that alone is a feat. Someone who is touted as one of the best, if not the best mid laner in North America. You're going to go compete against more of the best. How excited are you for the opportunity for both yourself and the team to go up against all this top-tier competition?
Oh, man.
So terrified.
It's going to be really cool. That's all I have to say about that.
All right, so that's fair enough. Fair enough. Well, gentlemen, I want to give you one more opportunity to say anything you want to say to both the fans here in Madison Square Garden and the fans at home before we say our farewells.
Thanks, guys. I mean, you're basically the reason like esports is so big.
Dude, shut up, man.
One more time, ladies and gentlemen, your 2015 North American Summer Split champions, CounterLogic Gaming.
Last split, CLG had a good regular season, but they fell apart as they approached the finish line.
CounterLogic Gaming definitely showing a true change in the slump.
They've never finished higher than third place.
That's not how North America is anymore. CLG is emerging. Playing on the Madison Square Garden stage is going to be fucking awesome. It would just feel right for CLG to finally hold up the trophy. I believe in us. If we can't beat Tip, then we have no chance at Worlds, so we don't deserve it.
Even done yet, can they get more? The Q lands onto Adrian. CLG back in the lead.
First and foremost, I want to make a statement at Madison Square Garden.
Impact buying a lot of time, but there's a shot, but it's a doozy, and it's time for the slaughter. The 3-0 sweep. CounterLogic Gaming, they're headed to the finals.
Madison Square Garden in the finals, you'll see us there.
Not gonna get it that time. It's a triple for Double It. He's looking for Bjergsen.
Such a good game for CLG here. It's really aggro. They get a ball, Turtle.
Turtle in the back. He's gonna go down immediately.
And now taking down Team SoloMid at Madison Square Garden to be your 2015 Summer Split champions.
Well, an emotional ride that fans will be able to take for a few weeks to come. The threads are safe for now. CLG fans are happy.
Everything is safe.
Everything is safe.
What are you talking about? The trash talk's already begun. Now we got more popping up.
Free SM and all that. I gotta say,
That's the best part about CLG winning again.
They get so trash talk so fast. It's great.
I mean, it's so funny. There's so many things to talk about. Yeah, the rivalry's back, which is great. I just want to talk about CLG as a whole, though. One of the last remaining North American-only rosters in the North American LCS. As a North American League of Legends player, I'm very proud of these guys. I'm happy they're representing my region coming in to the World Championship. They're worthy victors, of course, especially the mid laner player. And CLG is amazing, and I'm very excited for them at Worlds.
Yeah, one thing about this series is I actually thought it was going to be going 5 games beforehand, and I thought I was going to be disappointed if it was a 3-0, but in the manner in which CLG won and just seeing all the emotion and just genuineness out of those sides, I'm not disappointed with this 3-0 whatsoever.
I can second that notion. So for one last time, let's pull up the playoff bracket to see how the teams are arranged. CounterLogic Gaming fought their way through the semifinals and finals to claim first place and the #1 seed to this year's World Championship. TSM takes second place and will still auto-qualify for Worlds based on their championship points. That just leaves a little matter of North America's 3rd seed competing in the upcoming regional qualifier. We've got Gravity, who will have to fight their way through Cloud9, Team Impulse, and Team Liquid for a shot at the Summoners Cup. Now, to celebrate our North American and European champions, you can pick up Fnatic and CounterLogic Gaming winning team comps on sale in the client stores starting Monday, August 24th for 1 week. And then we are going to be letting you, the fans, decide which player will get the bundle treatment. Vote on Twitter for what player of your choice, then hit the client store on Monday to pick up their champion pool and learn how to play like your favorite player. For example, if Zion Spartan wins the vote, you could pick up Gnar, Olaf, Yasuo, Rumble, and Fizz. It's going to be pretty sick. Once again, we want to thank Madison Square Garden for hosting our finals and giving us an amazing weekend of action that will be a high watermark for the North American LCS for years to come. Now for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew and Tribeca Games, thanks for watching, and GG. Madison Square Garden about to get on their feet here for Game 1. We're about to be on the rift with Team SoloMid versus CounterLogic Gaming. Very low mana for Bjergsen. He's right now in this fight. Zion Spartan getting hit. Lays over the wall. Chaos Storm is absolutely shredding Team SoloMid.
I got the Q on Bjergsen. I'm ulti. Kill Bjergsen. Janna. I got the go. Let's go.
Very convincing from CounterLogic Gaming. Super Mega Death Rocket. Timer. 3, 2, 1. Misses out just underneath. Not gonna get it that time. It's a triple for Double Lift. He's looking for Bjergsen. Counter Logic Gaming go 2 in a row versus Team SoloMid.
Get it! Get the stun! Nice! Watch it! Dragons! Nice! You guys got this. Get him. Dragon right now.
Stronger, the double kill, the triple kill now coming in for Pole Belter. Double is gonna clean one up, and now taking down Team SoloMid at Madison Square Garden to be your 2015 Summer Split champions.